there were people who believed that Edge was a lifer in WWE. But it turns out you didn't know him.
Surely you'd have said, like, you thought you knew him. Because, you think you know him. You think you know me is like the line.
What did I say?
You didn't know him, or something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't the right thing.
Yeah, it wasn't quite the right thing, was it?
Do you want to do it again? Retake.
You think you know him? Welcome to the WrestleTalk Podcast channel. I'm Luke Owen, DAD. I'm joined by Chopper Pete Quinnell. We're here to review AEW Wrestle Dream. Please do press the thumbs up button. Give us a subscribe if this is your first time here and you've made it this far. And leave a comment down below if you're watching us on demand with your thoughts on Wrestle Dream. Edge in AEW. Adam Copeland, we need to get used to saying that in AEW. And beyond. And if you're watching us live, join the chat where everyone's really enjoying my excellent intro. Was Johnny Gargano enough to save this episode of Raw? Johnny Gargano, probably not. But did I very much enjoy Johnny Gargano's return? Johnny Gargano, yes, I did.
Jesus Christ. That took so... Even you lost, confidence in it by the end there. That was a lot to watch.
I am Luke Owen, DAD. I'm joined by the Professor of the Truth, Dan Layton. Your Jam That Champion, no less. Welcome to the WrestleTalk Podcast review of Monday Night Raw. Please do press the subscribe button if this is your first time here. Give us a little thumbs up as well. Leave your comment down below with what you thought of this episode of Monday Night Raw. And if you're watching live, join in the live chat and get in your alpha chat.
Yeah.
WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll read out all of them above the $5 as I looked at the live chat and see how everyone enjoyed my nailed it.
Yes.
Oof. Jeez. Bloody hell, Luke. That was brutal.
Look, if there's anything we've learned about wrestling, it's not how you get there, it's whether or not the closing moment sells it.
A brutal lack of wrestling on this 3-hour broadcast.
Yeah.
It was quite a disappointment. But this was a final 20-odd minute match to round us out, which is what you want for this IC title picture. That's the whole point of this. The workhorse belt giving you the banger of the week type deal. So I thought the show was kind of built nicely to build towards that.
Yeah.
Because if you have lots of 20-minute bangers, then your own end 20-minute banger doesn't feel quite as special.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's finding... There is an in-between where you have the balance of good wrestling and then entertaining story.
That's where I'm at. We talked about this on our prediction show for Fastlane will be going out tomorrow. And that was kind of our feeling about the Fastlane card compared to the Wrestle Dream card.
Yeah.
Wrestle Dream was 14 matches.
Nonsense.
Fastlane is 5.
Similar nonsense, but the other side of the nonsense spectrum.
But there's a happy ground in the middle here where it's every match is given enough time, but it's not 5 matches.
7 or 8 matches is a good amount of matches for a wrestling show, a pay-per-view. And a TV show, I would say probably about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. No, 30 to 40 minutes per hour of wrestling. I think is fine.
We used to make...
Factoring in ads.
We used to make fun of WCW because there was once an episode of Nitro that had no wrestling in its first hour.
Jesus.
This was, this had 20 minutes before a match started. We used to make fun of Raw for that when Triple H was on top and he used to come out it's my weekly 20-minute promo. And it's all right, okay, fine.
We had that on the Raw After Mania, didn't we?
Yes. It was all right, okay, fine, Trips. What do you got to say this week? Name the game. It's 20 minutes later, and then Shelton Benjamin comes out for a 3-minute match. And here we had 20 minutes of chat before we got into wrestling, and then it was a short match, and then there was another 20-odd minutes of talking and stuff. Anyway, let's get into the rest of your alpha chat. York Master here says, top guy in WWE is Roman. When WWE is in a rut... When AEW was in a rut, Moxley got them out of it. Gunther is top champ on Raw. Becky main evented WrestleMania, not Seth. When he got top prize as a face, he crumbled. Seth wants to be seen as so bad, but the best he can be is Triple H. Damn, Dad. Is that what your dad said that?
I'm confused by the who said this? Because it's in quotation marks.
Well, I'm assuming Dad, his dad, York Master's dad said that.
Or did you say that at some point because you're DAD?
No, I don't think I've ever said that. I mean, I agree. That's so I'm talking about WrestleTalk Extra a lot, but I called Shane Douglas the Triple H of ECW. Always having the longest match, and it's the worst one. And I see. Yes, Seth wants to be the top guy so bad, but at best he's Triple H.
The thing, well, that's, I mean, I love Triple H, so I'm too biased to really say anything about it. That's funny. Tony Khan sat over there in one corner and Triple H is in the other one. They're both just staring daggers at. They get nice
things about me.
Once the show's finished, they go off for a Starbucks together. They have a great time.
Yeah, but they
just want to pit us against each other.
Yeah, they teleport away.
Yeah, happy days.
And a note from Modmother here asking why my Triple H impression sounds a bit like Macho Man.
It does. It does.
No, Macho Man is a bit more up here.
And now do Macho Man. That was really sharp of me. Give me some praise.
That was very good. Let's get ready to suck it.
Now do Triple H. Okay, let's do this too.
Let's get ready to suck it.
That's Triple H.
No, yes, Triple H could go much higher at the end with the suck it.
Okay, I can't! Oh my god! That's made the best of already.
Also, someone said that sounds a lot like Lemmy from Motorhead. I haven't got the.
If you like to gamble, I
was gonna say I don't think I've got the throat capacity to do a Lemmy. If you like to. I can tell, because I absolutely rub it. I bollocks that.
The thing is, the mouth comes forward for all of
it. Well, you have to, because it's on the throat.
Oh my god.
God, the amount of times I would wake up on Sunday mornings with the most hoarse voice possible, because me and my mates had been down at the face bar in Reading, screaming Ace of Spades.
I once made myself breathless to the point of nearly passing out by doing a Julia Child impression.
Yeah.
Because she talks and takes a lot of breaths, and I did it so long that I was like lightheaded for a while. So I relate. Well,
the best Lemmy impression to do is when they do Triple H's entrance at WrestleMania X70 if they get all the lyrics.
It's all about the game.
It's all about the game. And now you play it.
It's all about the game. And now you play
it. And they showed a photo of the injury that Becky got, which was gross.
Yucky.
Which means that they were postponing Tegan Nox's match. So here was the other weird bit that I thought. Because they said, well, Tegan, you can't have your match now. We're going to do that at another point. You know, you're going to do you versus Becky for the NXT Women's Championship.
Like next week.
Basically, when Becky is fine.
Yeah.
In the same breath, announced that Becky Lynch is going to be on NXT tonight to find her next challenger.
Yeah.
We've just set up as Tegan Nox.
Mm. It is that thing that you've pointed out an awful lot, and it is accurate of, well, you're giving us the result. Like, it's one thing for the champ to say, I'm going to show up every single week. It's another thing to say, you have a title shot, but Becky is on the lookout for other challenges, which means you're probably not going to win it, kind of thing. It's an odd thing.
Or it's Becky is going to lose the belt and Tegan's just going to face Becky, but for not the belt.
Right. Odd.
Yeah.
Very odd.
Bronson Reed then squashed Cedric Alexander.
Because this is my... Sorry, I had another...
We had the Chelsea Green bits.
Well, but first, two things. First of all, if I was booking the show and judging by their blatant use of my pitches lately, I probably am, I would lean into this for Tegan Nox to give Tegan Nox a bit of a character, because at the moment she's just, hello, I'm Tegan Nox. I've learned a Welsh word over the weekend. Mm-hmm. Llongifaciadau. Means congratulations. I don't. Llongifaciadau.
I could tell because you were doing a lot of Welsh Instagramming over the weekend.
I'm trying to lean in.
Yeah.
One day I'm going to become Prime Minister and I'll be able to speak Welsh and I'll bring everyone back together.
So I tried to learn Welsh for my wedding.
It's a lot.
Oh, it's a lot.
There's a lot, and there are so many different Welshes.
Yeah. And then my wife's aunt asked me, like, well, why don't you come to us for help on this? I was like, because there's only 3 of you that can speak Welsh, which means I've only been doing it to you 3. So you'll have already heard what I had to say.
I think if you speak Welsh and then you play it backwards, it's just English. It's a lot of things just reversed. Mm. I don't have any evidence of that, but I'm going to figure... My favourite one...
I think if anyone rotated word down, they would find that's not true.
My favourite thing with Welsh is, especially a lot of the newer words where there isn't like an ancient word for it, so they sort of Welshify. I think they call it... I don't know this. I'm not one. I think they call it Wenglish. So in case that's offensive to the people of Wales, I really respect you and Cymru and all the rest. Cymru and Byth. But there's a word... They print both Welsh and English together on everything, so that
Araf.
So my favourite of that is the word for bus, which is just bus with a W. And on the bus lane, they've got bus with a W, and then underneath it, Bus with a U. I feel like that's unnecessary. I'm just going to say it. Anyway, point being.
We should message here being like, you butchered that, Dan. I love you, but stay out of Wales.
I'm working on it. I promise I'm trying. It's a hard language.
No, Dan, you've been told you're not allowed back
I'm not allowed back into Wales.
Well, yeah, you've been told to stay out of Wales.
It's going to be a little bit difficult for me. I'll be honest with you. But yes.
Anyway, you're talking about Tegan Knox.
I'm talking about Tegan Knox, who is Welsh. That's why we were there. Anyway, good.
Which you always forget until she opens up her mouth and she's like, hello. It's like, oh my God, yeah, you are Welsh.
I'd like to take on Becky Lynch at some point. But that's kind of the whole character, right? Let her be a little bit like, Natty stepped over me and I was stupid to let her have a go. Now this has happened and I get it, Becky's injured, but I'm getting a bit... She's going to NXT? She's looking for other people? Lean it, give her a bit of bite, give her a little bit of something.
No, because her and Natty are friends now.
No, we'll get to that. But like, remember how Becky's broken nose pushed her into the next level and it was like making mountains out of molehills and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Like, do it. Lean into it. Use that
She's
stuff.
just a happy-go-lucky girl from the valleys.
From the valleys.
Honestly, actually, Eric getting injured has done wonders for
Ivar.
Ivar.
Because then he also had a moment where Woods gets him up for the Death Valley Driver, and that was a huge pop for me. I think there were just some quite good wrestlers in WWE.
I think there are people who are doing way better Welsh than you are.
It's because they're writing it down.
No. It's just like, so our mod mother here, her last name is of Welsh origin.
Welsh Llewellyn? Welsh?
Yeah. She's just better at it than you are.
It's easier to write Welsh than it is to say it.
And she's from Pittsburgh.
Dalati.
It's from Pittsburgh.
I
don't even know where that is.
Do you know what Leighton's not my real surname. Plot twist. Because my real surname was taken by another actor on Spotlight. My real name means Bogdweller. When England were in the semi-finals of the World Cup, they put out this massive thing being like, the National Trust were like, here's the origins of everyone's surnames. And people were like, ooh, Man of Truth, or I don't know what yours is Irish, feels like.
I think it's Welsh.
Welsh?
Yeah, from Cohen, I think.
Hang on my face. But my real surname was like, oh, I wonder what the meaning of it is. Bogdweller. Well, thank you, National Trust. No wonder I changed it.
My mother's side is Irish.
Right. Okay.
Because they were a lot of Irish twins. My mum is the oldest of 5, and she has got 6 siblings.
Jesus, wept.
She was the oldest at 5,
right?
With 6, and then her mother passed away. But yeah, and she'd had 6 siblings by that point.
Yeah, I traced my family back 6 generations, all from the same place in Cheadle, the same bog, probably.
It's a lovely part of the world. The Guilty Hats here said, I'm sorry, Dan. It's harsh to tell you to stay out of Wales. You tried, and that's more than most of Wales. You're one of the good ones. Agreed fully on the Tegan...
Diolch.
Agreed fully on the Tegan idea.
If she's watching, she's going to leave me.
Agreed fully on the Tegan idea. Have her on NXT tonight, refusing to be looked over instead of the natty turn that we'll get.
I don't like Jimmy Uso's character. I
don't mind him now. He's a bit of a menace, and it's making me laugh. He's a hot mess. That's the best to describe. He's a hot mess.
He is.
His storyline doesn't make sense. It's still a bit crap.
Yep.
But I'm finding things to enjoy because I have to find certain things to enjoy, or it's very depressing to watch him on screen. So I'm finding something to enjoy, which is he thinks he's now the new right-hand man. He's the second in command. When Roman's not here, he holds it down unofficially. So I can't wait to see Roman's reaction to that. It would be funny.
Here's the thing as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So on this show,
yes,
it's insinuated that Heyman called Roman Reigns to authorize the Judgment Day alliance thing, right? He said he has to get the approval from Roman Reigns, and Rhea said, all right, make your call. And then he came out, shook her hand, and said authorized, right? Which pretty heavily insinuates he called Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns said okay. They were also hyping up on commentary that Roman Reigns has not given any judgment on Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso can say that he's in the bloodline, but until Roman Reigns says so, we don't know if he even is. If Heyman's in constant contact with Roman Reigns surely would have said, Jimmy, piss off. You're not in the bloodline, right? Unless he is, in which case Roman has taken him back, which doesn't make any sense because Jimmy's the first one that turned on him at Night of Champions.
No, but you saw Roman. Roman was willing to forgive him because he helped him win the title of SummerSlam.
Nonsense! That doesn't make any sense with Roman's character.
What do you mean?
Roman's a paranoid mess up here all the time.
No, but Roman when you got less members in your bloodline, there's not much of a bloodline. So he was fine. I'll forgive you if you're willing to worship me again. Come on, I'll allow you back in. You know
I hate all of it.
Also, you have to remember one thing as well. People keep forgetting they're not just a faction. It's family. They're family. They are family.
Sure.
It's family. Family squabble all the time. You know, at the end of the day.
I would say that betraying your cousin, turning on him, and calling him, horrible things and saying that he's toxic and abusive and all that stuff, it's a little more than squabbling, is what I say.
It's a regular Friday for the Bloodline household. Amount of time Alpha and Seeker just headlock each other in the kitchen, saying, I should get the splash, I should get the victory. They grew up in, you're telling, every time the bloodline, they're close what? Tribal combat, they're squabbling, they're training with each other, they're smacking each other. You think it's a simple, easy household full of jokes? No, there used to be a lot of fighting, a lot of competition. That's what breeds that kind of, success in the bloodline. It's in them.
Cannot believe that you're defending this.
I mean, why not? I mean, come on. That's what makes it fun. Pete, you go in and I'm like, actually, what if,
Yeah, I'd be the heel, you baby face it up. All right.
I'm not a baby face. I just like to create a alternative point because there are people in the comment section that kind of think that way. Because if we're both thinking the same way, they're going to feel oppressive. My views are never heard. They're going to say in the comment section, you guys suck. You guys never see what I want. So I'm just saying, do I 100% believe it? No, but at the same time, I'm saying it because maybe that's how they see things.
Sure,
we may not see it, but they see things obscured. They'll be like, "This is great TV content for everyone."
Look, man, I saw online that people were super hyped with that main event segment with all the run-ins from Jay and Kobe and stuff. People were like, "Man, that's the hottest SmackDown ending in years. It's so great." I'm so glad people got something out of it. I got nothing out of it because it's so expected. We've seen these people team up before. The people were announced to be there. There was nothing exciting about it all. I'm like, this is the standoff that we've had for months.
But would you argue they wasted this Mexican standoff a month too early?
Probably.
Because now you don't have that the excitement for War Games unless Regal, his year competes up and he comes out. That's the pop.
I think it's after War Games. I think his year's up. I don't think he's going to be able to announce it, unfortunately.
Now I'm sad.
Yeah.
Now I'm sad. Just get Triple H.
Yeah.
War Games.
War Games. Backstage, Rey Mysterio comes out of the training room and says, Wilde and Cruz del Toro are out of the 6-man tag at Fastlane tonight.
Oh, no.
So then they said, well, what are we going to do? There's only 2 of us now and 3 of them, which is not true because Zelina Vega's right there. You just don't want women fighting men, but that's okay. You got Santos and you got Rey, and Rey says, let me make a call. And that's how it ends. That is the one bit of curiosity I have for Fastlane.
All right, let's decipher. Let me make a call. I guess it's not Dragon Lee because I could be. You know why? Let me go down the hall.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
That one says, I got an idea. He's like, you need to make a phone call.
Needs to make a call.
And then I don't know.
It's really funny if it's Dragon Lee though.
It's a shame you ain't gonna be here next week, but I'll be like, Pete, watch the episode. It was Dragon Lee.
Yeah.
He went down the hall to catering.
Yeah.
No, because he called him, Drag, where are you, man? I'm getting ready for my match. Hey, you just debuted. Do you wanna have your first PLE? Bet, I'm there. No, I'm hoping that it is one Carlito.
That would be great.
That's what I assumed.
Yeah.
Because, LWO for life.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of forgot that was a possibility. I forgot Carlito was there. Yeah. That's the right choice.
Bring back Carlito and then the new team of Street Profits and Bobby Lashley still wins.
Because Santos turns heel, right?
No.
Yeah.
Wait, listen, I know we're going to get to Santos Escobar versus Rey Mysterio down the line, but no.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, they had Santos Rey before last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was too
Rey
early.
won, and Santos was like looking like a bit annoyed, bit dejected, and that's when the Street Profits jumped him right before Santos was going to turn, definitively, with no question, right?
That's what you're thinking,
yeah?
No, it's not. It's not time yet.
Why not?
It's not time.
Why?
We have.
If you're going to bring in Carlito, swap out a Santos. You're fine.
No.
LWO is still strong.
No, it's not. Like, I'm hoping. This is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping he takes that LDF back with him. He takes his crew back.
Oh, that would be fun. Yeah.
Like, we're out, guys. We're out.
And then you just have Rhea and Carlito as a tag team.
Yeah, and Zelina is torn between where her loyalty lies. Because I think she's too in. I think with Cruz and Joaquin, they haven't had enough success in the group to be that nostalgic.
Yeah.
They were like, I'm tired of being a job guy. Where's our van? Let's start kidnapping people again.
Yeah.
You know? But it's not time. I feel like it has to build even more. Dude, you just create that. You're making, my brain is breaking in front of everyone's eyes because I'm trying to see if what you're suggesting is actually a better idea. You know, the whole out of nowhere. What is he doing? Oh, no, Santos. But I feel like it's too quick because I feel like it's a WrestleMania feud.
Why does everything need to be a WrestleMania feud?
Then who does Ray face at WrestleMania then? What? Doing that Andre the Giant Battle Royal on SmackDown?
We'll get there into Rumble season.
Man.
We haven't even had Survivor Series yet.
It's got pre-planning. You can't do that. Listen,
yes, you can.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
Yes, you can.
You cannot do that. They're building this storyline for a while. This new surrogate son, this storytelling, all to blow it off for a pay-per-view. That's not going to happen. Heck, no, you can't. No.
Do it at the Rumble.
No one cares. Feud blow off at Rumbles. No one really cares.
No one blows off feuds at pay-per-views. Is that what I'm hearing?
No. Rumble. No one cares about feuds at Rumbles.
Why not?
No one.
Make them care about feuds at the Rumble. That's in your power.
It feels like it's kind of like a dead heat. People are like, I came for the Rumble. I don't care about this match. This is just like, I need to get my hot dog.
Crazy idea. Make them care about the Rumbles and the matches.
Yeah, but
just throwing it out there.
Unless some sort of like Snickers or whatever glow in the dark match. No, we don't care. It's a WrestleMania feud. It'll be Santos' first WrestleMania. Because what happened? Okay, he turns heel. He has a match with Rey Mysterio. Then what? Rematch on Mania. People start complaining. Or rematch at Elimination Chamber in Australia. People start complaining. And then what happens at WrestleMania? Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio are both fighting the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal because they screwed it up and they broke up too early.
Or they push Santos Escobar. Again. Crazy suggestion. If you're going to turn someone heel and abscond a faction, you push them. I don't think that's a crazy suggestion, but that's just me.
Or you do a US title match between Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar at WrestleMania. So enough time has gone by that you forget they had a singles match. It was fresh again.
Here's a side point. How long have we been going?
For ages.
Probably not talk on this for too long.
Yes.
This is a side point.
Okay.
Kind of based off what you're saying. I do feel like sometimes people can over glamorize WrestleMania a little bit. Because anything has to end at WrestleMania. Because if it's important, it has to end at WrestleMania. It's like you have a whole rest of the year. And if you have stuff end at other points in the year, it makes those other bits of the year also important.
I won't remember it.
Why not?
Because I barely remember any wrestling years.
Do you not remember anything that happened at any SummerSlam, any Survivor Series, any Rumble, that isn't the Rumble matches?
Yeah, of course.
Like, come on, of course important stuff happens at those shows.
No, but it feels
you just
like
elevate the other shows up by doing important things on them.
If they want to push Santos Escobar as the next credible heel, you should build it towards WrestleMania. That's the coming out party when he has that victory over Rey Mysterio and wins the United States title.
If he does it at WrestleMania over 2 nights, it will get overshadowed by all the other important things on that show.
No,
if he does it on a B show or at the Royal Rumble, he will not be overshadowed by all the other singles matches because he will have his own spotlight.
The Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for WrestleMania is still one of the most talked about matches of this year's WrestleMania.
No, it isn't.
It is.
What are you talking about?
It is. Chad Gable lifting up Braun Breaker getting pounced by Angelo Dawkins. Are you kidding me? I still see on Twitter people that match banged. That was a good match.
Yeah, because people don't talk about it, so people want to highlight it more. That's the point.
It is. It's social media. We're getting on a tangent, guys. Going back swiftly. So yes, Santos Escobar. It could be Carlito. Or it might be Dragon Lee.
Anyway, sorry. Okay, so sidetracked. And then Damian Priest was shown backstage, holding his briefcase.
Tell everyone your theory, man.
I wonder if it's going to be a cash-in. There you go. He's going to cash in on Rollins.
You said more than that. You were more eloquent in the office explaining to me. Yes.
He's going to cash in on Rollins because they were doing the whole back thing to weaken Rollins so that Priest can just come in and cash in and win, and it still protects Rollins.
And my theory is they're weakening Seth Rollins back for a Gunther powerbomb and victory and world title win.
Do you think that Gunther's going to lose the belt anytime soon?
January's always nice.
He should end it at WrestleMania, I think. Otherwise, it's not important. Isn't that right, Sap?
What do you mean? That's not the same thing. Can't move a goalpost. You can't move a goalpost.
What's the goalpost?
There, you can't move a goalpost. We're talking about Santos Escobar. Does Gunther look like Santos? No, he doesn't. That's a whole different story. It's a whole different story.
If you want to end something historic, why not end it at WrestleMania? Otherwise, it's not important, apparently.
Oh, you can. You can do a 2-night thing. You can lose the Intercontinental title, win a Royal Rumble, have the Rumble victory, and beat Seth Rollins the next night. You're right. I like the idea.
That's great.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Then we had...
thanks.
Yeah, that was a really big hit. Jesus. Then we had the announcements that Roman Reigns and Triple H are going to be there next week. Then we had the main event, which we've already spoken about. I didn't get a lot out of this show. I thought there were some teasers of decent things. Like, I liked the intrigue of who's their partner going to be and the potential alliance with Judgment Day and Bloodline. I liked a couple of the backstage segments. The wrestling on this show, at its best, was fine. And that's about it. I didn't get more excited for Fastlane. Aside from like the little curiosity about the tag team partner, I think this is a 2 out of 5 show for me. It's
For a show he didn't get enough on, he got my blood pressure riled up.
yeah,
Right here. This is the most passionate I've ever been.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
I don't know what happened. What came over me?
We've hosted shows before,
Yeah.
but you want to go there? Let's go there. You want to debate? I'll debate you, man. I'll debate your life. I'll debate you, man.
And then Xavier Woods arrived at ringside to deliver to Cole and Corey Graves what had to be the coldest Pizza Hut anyone's ever eaten in their entire lives.
Yeah, they're just putting it in their mouth and immediately regretting
What?
it. Oh, no.
Do you remember when we did Games Expo in 2019 and we had Domino's Pizza the night before we left? And then we took those Domino's pizzas with us in the car.
Yeah.
And then we finished Games Expo where we'd left the pizzas in the car. So they'd just been in that hot car all day.
Pizzas die in hot cars.
Yeah, and then we looked at it, I was like, we probably shouldn't eat this.
No.
That's what this Pizza Hut was.
Yeah,
Like, this
oh,
sort
yeah.
of thing of like, I don't think I'd want to touch that Pizza Hut.
No,
I
that
bet
pi-
it's been there for hours.
That Pizza Hut had been sent to the PR department weeks in advance to be signed off and checked for it to be ready to go. Like the props department had that for a while.
Yeah.
Ugh. It looked gross. What is it? What's the middle bit in the pizza meal box thing?
Bits of chicken, right? Is that what it was?
Is it?
I think it was little bits of chicken.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, I should
Like,
say chicken.
yeah. It looked like is it chicken? Is it like weird garlic bread? Like
I don't know what it was.
I don't know. Why are the pizzas rectangular? Just to make them fit in the box,
It
I
goes
guess.
in the box that way, yeah. So, you know, in
Pizza Hut is mad as a box of frogs, honestly.
they're like adverts, like food is essentially glued together so that it looks nice.
Yeah.
Or like in beer, they put soap in beer so that it froths up really nicely. I think that's what this was. Just most of that was cardboard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Pizza Hut's Pizza Hut's approach to food making is like the island of Dr. Moreau. It's like they're just like burgers and pizza. That'll do. Like it doesn't.
I did have that cheeseburger pizza once. They were just like, what can we do to reinvent the pizza? I don't know, put a cheeseburger in the crust?
Yeah.
What, like in the actual middle of the crust? No. We're going to put a burger patty.
Yeah, like tiny little burger.
A tiny burger patty on top of the crust.
Yeah. It's like Tears of the Kingdom. It's like you're fusing things together. It's mad.
I had 2 slices of it and I was like, it's 3 meals. But yeah, let us know what you thought of the show. And let's also give a shout out, as we always do, to Mara, who's in the chat. Hi, Mara. And we've also got a confirmation here that the Pizza Hut box contains a pepperoni pizza, a sausage pizza, boneless chicken wings, so just chicken nuggets, and breadsticks.
How do you bone a chicken wing without? I don't understand.
You're looking to bone chicken wings nowadays.
No, but just like how do you get a boneless chicken wing?
Well, that's a chicken nugget.
Because you have to destroy the chicken wing to get the chicken off the bone.
Yeah, and then just bread it
and then. Yeah, okay, so it's just,
it's a nugget.
It's a nugget. It's reformatted chicken.
But chicken nuggets, like, no one knows what part of a chicken that is.
No.
It's just different. I think it's just all the offcuts of chicken just all glued together.
It's chicken arseholes. We all know it's chicken arseholes.
and a bit of beaconed eye.
Yeah, all right, yeah. Ben, no expense spared.
Ryan here says, show is pretty mid-entertaining, though too many ads, which soured on me, but very well paced. 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
Solid.
Get yourself some breadsticks.
Gabriel Reyes said, I think that's probably the most edible thing in that box.
Yeah.
The breadsticks. They're probably the only thing in there that's made of actual food.
Well, of the food that's advertised. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Like that. Those breadsticks are made of bread. That sausage might not be made of sausage.
Oh, no, that's definitely bumholes and eyelids.
Yeah, that's bumholes and eyelids.
On AEW Collision, Ricky Starks and Big Bill dethroned FTR in shocking fashion with a squash. You could say it's Big Bull.
What?
Like bull. You know?
What?
It's bull. That's
Right,
bull.
but is it? But also, is that of all the puns you could have?
Look, man, you told me to come up with a pun 30 seconds ago. That is all I've got.
I'm just
all
saying,
right?
Luke could have at least tried and failed.
Well, we're going to talk about it.
Here we are.
Is it Big Bull or not?
Is it a stark reminder of?
Stark's reminder.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Of what happens if you run afoul of Tony Khan, maybe,
Whoa.
or if you leave. What?
Mine is now better.
Yeah. Look. In my defense,
Yeah.
and this is the reason that I look a little bit disheveled,
Mhm.
regular service will resume in like a couple of weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's the London Film Festival this week.
Mhm.
I have not slept in about 2 weeks. I'm wearing a t-shirt on the stream.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
We're wearing a t-shirt from the same company. That's absurd.
We're basically a tag team. Look at us go. You got a spare beanie, Lion?
I think I might actually. For my, like,
I'll find
that I
one
wore
somewhere.
Season 1 get up. Anyway.
We've already spoken about Tony's movie, which was next, and Saraya and Shida and the title change. Callis and Takeshita with the cards.
Oh no! Before that, so that was where they announced that Jericho's been taken to hospital, and like Seb was like, "I'm going, I've got to make a very sad announcement now." And I was like, "Oh man, like what next?
Who's
Like,
injured now?
Who's injured now?" And then it was a storyline one, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's better." And then Tony Schiavone was like, "But I've got the better announcements to make."
It's like on Bake Off. I've got the very sad news this week of saying who's going to go home.
Which means I've got the nice job this week. And it was the announcement that they are donating over $1 billion worth of toys for Toys for Tots this Christmas.
$1 billion.
That's what you said, yeah.
I didn't. I
Well,
must not have heard
maybe
it.
like $1 million or something, but like, yeah, they're donating a lot of money to it. But I mean, there is a big
It can't be 1 billion.
There's a difference between a million and a billion. Maybe I've just heard billion so much these days. Maybe it was million.
They just-
Because now I've said it out loud, that seems like an insane amount.
That's
of
an
money.
insane amount. Like, unless they're saying,
Must
oh,
have been 1 million.
these are really first edition toys, so we are giving it a value. Each toy that's cost us about $3 to
To have
make.
been a million.
We're
I've written a
about-
billion on my notes. If it's only saying it out loud, I was like, that's insane. It can't be that.
Yeah, just AEW casually donated the equivalent of a minor GDP. A minor nation's gross domestic product.
In action figures. Which then themselves are their own currency. I've been to Comic-Con.
Oh yeah, you got a good 1 billion sweet deal with with
Warner
Peacock,
Brothers.
have you? Have you WWE? We're just gonna casually drop that to some charity. What a big bull move on Tuesday night! The Tuesday Night
Take
Wars!
that, you bald bastard! Where's your $1 billion worth of toys, Mattel?
Boo that! It's the charity! Billy.
Can you imagine how much toys that would be?
The kids would be like, I
Have you
can't
got,
live
got any
anymore.
action men? Like, I'm just...
We can't live in our house. It's full of luchasauruses.
We can actually build new hospitals and new charity buildings with just the boxes.
We're gonna melt it down for parts.
I can think of all the new limbs I can make here. But then Callis got his promo. Yeah. Let's hear the rest of your Omega chat. Andy Sandbox said, "It's become comical how these shows were stacked and promoted. I don't mind the shots back and forth. I'm here for the chaos. But I'm dreading the discourse later today when the ratings come out because I want both companies coming happy with the shows." Here's a great way out of this, Andy. Just don't go online.
Just read the number.
Brian
Alvarez just tweets the numbers, doesn't he? So
Yeah.
just look at the numbers and then don't read any of the discourse.
That's it. You know the numbers. You've got a fact. You can form your opinions with that
Yeah.
fact. And then go and watch, last night's Bake Off. I haven't seen it yet.
No.
So, go and watch that.
Unless the numbers don't say what you want them to. In which case, then you're going to have to dig down and you're going to have to find ways to justify those numbers to fit your own narrative. That's where it'll probably go off course.
I think if the numbers don't look like the numbers you want them to be, I would probably set aside a good 2 to 3 hours create a couple of Reddit accounts, start a couple of new Twitter accounts, and really just go to town on the discourse.
And the big winning argument, if you're pro AEW in this and you lose, then you say, well, $1 billion went to charity.
Not $1 billion. Billion toys.
$1 billion. I thought you said $1 billion worth of toys.
But then we've changed it now to 1 billion toys.
It's $1 billion toys. Either way, there's loads. And then if AEW win and you're pro NXT and WWE, you just say, well, they had to give all that money to chat. They bought those views.
They bought the view. Just such a bunch of
all the action figures watching a TV don't count.
Just be a good couple of first name bunch of number accounts, and you'll have a great few hours. Or just watch The Bear on Disney Plus because it's the finest show of the last 10 years. Anyway,
Luke, that's a big claim.
What are you talking about? What show's been better than The Bear in the last 10 years? It's not been better than The Bear. Honestly, The Bear is the finest bit of television in the last 10 years. You haven't finished it, have you?
I haven't finished it, no. And I really enjoy it. What are you doing? You're Kong Skull Island in there again.
Mate, when did you get to see this? Oh, it's so good. Is Adam Copeland a bit of a needle mover? Is he a difference maker? Let's talk about Adam Copeland in AEW since he started. There was a little bit of a pause as I started there, as I suddenly thought, I haven't got a joke.
No, and I was waiting.
Yeah, and I thought I had one earlier, and I forgot what it was.
You were on the edge of it. It's not my job to do those jokes. That's your job to make the bad jokes. So when I make the joke, it just feels sad.
Anyway, welcome to the WrestleTalk Podcast review of AEW Collision. Well, let's get into what you think about this episode. And we're going to be kicking things off with a big old chat here from Matt Hennessy, who says, in relation to Edge not calling him Adam Copeland, he will always be Edge to me. I don't think it's a case of him not being a draw or not. I just think it's a case of AEW being a cold product and struggling to sell shows. AEW has a loyal hardcore fan base, but they don't have the casual fan base. I think in order for AEW to get hot again and start selling out shows, they need to appeal to both fan bases. Tony can't just assume that fans watch everything. Not everyone watches Ring of Honor or BTE, and often stories will be set up for those shows and randomly not put on AEW without explanation. And someone who doesn't watch those shows, it leaves me feeling confused. When Adam Page and the Dark Order split up, when Adam Page and the Dark Order split up and the Dark Order turned heel, the story was told on BTE and not on TV. I don't like tribalism, but the way Tony acts on social media does not help AEW, especially after losing to NXT. He had a meltdown. I want the best for AEW and WWE, and we got the news over the weekend that Ari Emanuel, who is Vince McMahon's boss and the chief executive, had been removed from creative and gave all the creative duties and responsibilities to Triple H. That's a big win for wrestling fans. But Sean Ross Sapp and Justin Barrasso broke the news over the weekend, which is great news. But getting back to AEW, they need to focus on telling stories on AEW TV. AEW is at its best when they focus on themselves. I don't watch AEW for Ring of Honor or BTE, so please don't make what happens on the shows canon to AEW, because as someone who doesn't watch those shows, it does mean when storylines from those shows are put on TV, it leads to confusion. For AEW to get hot again, they need to find a balance and appeal for both hardcore and casual fans. So if you sort of try and break that down into various different bits. The Ring of Honor BTE thing, that's something we've been preaching on this show for since the show's inception. So you can literally look at numbers and see small portion of your audience watches BTE. They're not watching the weekly product.
Yeah.
So you can't really tell stories over there and then expect people to know them over here.
And that's the same with Marvel and Disney Plus shows. If you have so many shows on Disney Plus, I'm sorry, I'm not going to watch them all. I've got a lot on.
Yeah. I remember the point I was going to make as well about Matt's thing here, which is the idea of you need to appeal to the casual audience, and then brings up Tony's actions on social media. And I was like, well, the casual audience isn't seeing that anyway, so I don't think that has much of an effect on it. The only people that it's going towards is the hardcores.
Yeah.
The funny thing I think about that is that you had your piece about.
Oh, it ain't got better.
But it's second place marketing 101, which is if you're number two, you say that number one is bad. If you're number one, you ignore number two.
Yeah.
The Pepsi challenge, a lot of Burger King's advertisement was, McDonald's is bad.
Right.
Come eat Burger King instead. Pepsi's were Coca-Cola is bad, drink Pepsi instead.
And they went and changed the recipe, and I won't forgive them.
And you look at WWF in the 90s, when it was first against WCW, never mentioned them. The second that they were second place behind WCW, changed the way that they marketed their product. And every week it was trying to bury... during 1997, Jim Cornette was on TV talking about how bad of a product WCW is and why you should not be watching it. The second that they went back into first place, never mentioned them again.
98, JR's saying after certain... I think it was after the feed cut, and then I think it was Page and Goldberg or Page and Hogan or one of those.
Halloween Havoc,
He's saying that won't happen with us. Like they're talking about that's true.
It's classic second place marketing. It's just that it's now in a different place because social media is not that, social media has kind of changed the landscape of how we marketed products. So I found what he did to be like, well, it totally makes sense of what you do, because the whole point is you're supposed to make the other product look bad, because that in a way makes your product look good. I don't buy into this focus on your own thing, because if you're trying to promote yourselves, you want to try and do a bit of trash talking and stuff, which is wrestling 101. And second on that, the thing that I haven't actually not brought this up at all before, but I find it hilarious. This idea that, well, Vince would never do this, or Triple H would never do this. And I be with the Russell Prius, which is like, I've had people within WWE tell me that Triple H has burner accounts. Because Triple H is the biggest. I will. I mean, lovely swear there, Dan.
Sorry.
41 minutes into the show.
Sorry.
Like, it's as a man who keeps saying like, oh, I don't look online. Oh, I don't see what the online chatter is. Bullshit, mate.
I swear there, Luke. 41 minutes into the
Because, like, he was on TV on SmackDown being like, oh, I thought that we piped in the booze for Dominic Mysterio. I was like, oh, you're not online, are you, Triple H? You don't listen online. But yeah, apparently, he just has burner accounts. Like, he gets across and gets to do his form of second place marketing, but doesn't do it through his official account. Because he's a smart man. Greatest trick the devil ever pulled was Triple H, convincing people that he is a wrestling fan's dream.
Stick this in your Dan's a Fed shill and smoke it. That's cringe as well, Trip. Like, you're all so rich. Stop acting like posters on Twitter.
They're not like, it's not just they're rich, they're businessmen promoting their product, Dan. Do you know what? We're better than going in Raw. I'll say it. You hear that, Stephen Larson? Like, I shouldn't do. No, because they're great. Who can I say? Shouldn't really pick on them.
Let's start a war with people. Why not?
And I'm going to start a war with Stephen Larson, the nicest people I've ever met. You hear that, Stephen Larson? Our show's better than yours. Let's get into the remainder of your Ultra Chats. Laramesh says, time for some slang translations. This week lessons, cook. To do exceptionally well, e.g., let him cook, or Chelsea was absolutely cooking against Burnley this week. Slang synonyms include fried and smoked. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Just to call you up here on this, Chelsea have never cooked. Certainly not in the past couple of years. But yeah, that is what... Do you know about cooking?
I have seen people say it.
It's one of those things that...
I've opened up Twitter on a day before, so I've just seen like everyone is just like, oh, let them cook. That person was cooking right there.
It's cringe. It's another one where I'm like, I'm sorry. The original meaning means something, and then people use it so much to the point where it's like... So, But I'm here for Slang Corner that you can learn more. I've got you covered. You know this. You bring me a word, I'll tell you how it is. Like that Main Event 8. People seem to like that last week, so maybe we'll start saying that more.
I loved it. Did you see my great reel that I did today on the old Instagram?
No, I haven't been on the Instagrams today.
Oh, mate, check out the new reel that I've done.
Wow, what was it about? Was it about? Did you eat? Did you serve?
No, I drank actually.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, check me out. I'm an Instagram megastar right now. I'm actually on track to hit 4,000 followers by the end of the year.
Yes, Queen.
Yeah, I've just passed 3,900. So.
You better work.
Add my target 4,000, which I'm probably gonna
do. Great.
So thank you all so much. That is the last of our Ultra Chats, and if I end this poll now, we should be able to... No, it stopped. It ended. Darn. I was about to say we could have done the fun internet thing that people like to do.
Which is what?
Which I could have said that it was 69. Nice.
Was it not?
It wasn't. It was ended at 68% thumbs up, mid 27. be honest, that 68 thumbs up is higher than I thought.
Me too.
I'm really, really surprised at that. So, someone said cooking is lit. Fire emoji.
That does sound like a text that I would send, in fairness.
Did Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso lose the tag titles? Yeet, they did.
I don't think you know what yeet means.
I really don't.
Because it's not that.
But they say it a lot on the show.
They say it an awful lot.
They say it a lot on the show.
Yeah.
They said it like 5 times on this broadcast in one segment.
Yeet.
Welcome to the WrestleTalk Podcast review of Monday Night Raw. I'm Luke Owen, DAD. I'm joined by your Jam That Champion, the truth, the Professor, Dan Layton. Please do press the subscribe button if this is your first time here and you like this sort of crap on the internet. Let's get into the rest of the show. Actually, before we do get into the show, we're building towards Crown Jewel. We've got a big match announced on Crown Jewel.
We've got two matches now confirmed.
Absolutely, we do. Yeah, both of them on Raw again.
Yeah,
poor old SmackDown just can't get matches confirmed for pay-per-views. The number one show just cannot get matches confirmed for pay-per-views. But yeah, we are going to Crown Jewel, and we're going to be doing a watch party for Crown Jewel at the Long Arm Pub and Brewery on November 4th. So come on down. It's in Shoreditch, so it's got great. It's right by Liverpool Street Station. So if you're coming from outside of London, great train connection.
Nice and easy.
And
it's on the Lizzie line.
It is on the Lizzie line. We have got. It's a great pub. They do a great selection of beers and soft drinks as well.
And the burger front is quite something.
Very good food. I was going to say the burgers are great. We have had a blast the last 2 shows that we've done there because we did Money in the Bank and we did Night of Champions. We're going to be doing Crown Jewel here. We're going to be doing Survivor Series. We're making plans to do the Royal Rumble, to do Elimination Chamber, to do both nights of WrestleMania. We might even do some AEW stuff in there as well. We are going to be doing more of these sorts of events. So if you want to come down and find the best way to watch wrestling with friends, because we are your friends, this is going to be your new favorite way of watching pay-per-views. I guarantee you're going to have a great time if you come down there. And because it's a big show, I feel like it's about time you defended the Jam That Championship.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Because you won it at SummerSlam after jamming in the Jam in the Jar and have defended it once since?
Well, here's the thing.
And then taken breaks?
No, there just haven't been shows.
Oh, I mean, there have been shows, Dan.
But not that you've offered me to defend on them.
It's not up to me, Dan. As a
I've been here ready to take on all comers.
Champion.
Also, I'm going to push back a little bit because we had the most recent defense, the only defense, was
in September
at All Out, and I wasn't even allowed to make my own predictions for that. You know why? Because I was waiting to be told. I was like, well, I wonder if we're going to defend it at this one. I wonder if we're going to defend it at this one. And then I suddenly got a text. I was like, I won the belt, and I was like, oh, I'm well looking forward to being on the prediction shows and defending my crown and all the rest. And then Pete texts me and says, I'm about to do the predictions show with Tempest. I need your picks. And he gave me literally 5 minutes to do it.
Should have already had them planned out by now.
Well, I didn't.
What? That's on you, champ.
And yet, did I still win? You're damn right I did. Why? Because the era of Leighton is never ending. Because the Professor knows all. Because the truth will out. That's why. So bring it. I'll defend it. I will defend it at Crown Jewel. And I will win again. And then I will defend it at Survivor Series. And I will win again. And we'll be coming ever closer to day 1000.
It's about time you had some real competition, Dan. So I'm stepping up.
Oh!
I'm laying out the challenge. Me versus you. Pretty Dadly explodes.
Got a hot shot it straight away.
Yeah, me versus you, the championship at Crown Jewel.
Go on then. Why not? Can we do that again? Because I should have done something cooler. Then they can edit it in.
Yeah, cool. Go for it. The disrespect. I'm a multi-time Jam That Champion.
Means nothing. Who's holding the belt right now?
That's true.
That means you're a multi-time championship loser.
I mean, it's true.
I have
because
never lost.
You're the biggest champion we have right now.
The reigning, defending.
I saw someone made some trading cards of us.
I did. I like that.
They were very cool. Although it did say that I was a three-peat winner of the Jam in the Jar, which isn't true.
No, I actually won that one.
You did.
Well.
I'm a two-time winner of that.
I put a lot of effort into winning that.
So anyway, come down and see us because we're going to be doing a party for Crown Jewel, and it's going to be me versus Dan for the Jam That Championship in live reactions.
Come and see me retain.
Come and see either Dan retain, but more likely come and see me win the belt in front of adoring fans. My people.
Yeah, I don't talk to anybody.
It does mean that I've got to be on the live reaction because I like being in the crowd during the main events.
You do. Well, why don't you go off and be in the crowd and I'll take it solo?
Oh, I could do it, and then I can celebrate my win in the crowd.
Well, I'll celebrate it with the people at home, my real friends.
Your real friends.
Real humans, not my real friends. Sitting in a corner with people on the internet. That's where I've always felt the most comfortable. Very functional match to continue with the story. Tegan was starting to get a little reaction, from this otherwise reactionless crowd, Oklahoma. We're starting flame wars with everyone. We had, what was it, Steve Larson? Yesterday. And now we're starting one with the entire state of Oklahoma.
Yeah, Steve said on yesterday's Going in Raw, now it's on site.
Yeah.
Like, if they come over, and he said today on Twitter that he's going to come down the Thames like DX on a tank.
Just on a little speedboat.
On a little speedboat. Like, he's got... Like,
Make sure you've got your life jacket on, though.
Like, they're coming for us now.
All right.
Like, they said the war is on. Like, Steve knows where our office is.
Hey,
He's got big plans. I don't think Larson is into it as much as it is, but his arms are massive, so they terrify me in a different way.
Well, maybe Larson and me will sit in the corner and watch you two.
I don't set me up with Steve. Steve's massive.
That's your
Steve's
fault.
So tall.
I didn't start this flame war. Anyway.
It's not my fault our show's better than theirs. It's not my fault that we just have a better show.
You're right. It's my fault. I make the show better.
Thank you all so much for joining us today. We're going to say last call now for your alpha chats. Please do get them in. WrestleTalk.com/support. Blake Whitehouse said, since Steve Larson have declared war on WrestleTalk, might I suggest going in Raw versus WrestleTalk, Full Gear and Survivor Series predictions? Just some silly fun between my two favorite YouTube channels before the December slow season.
Not for this.
Do you think they're still open to the old contract thing? I mean, you use the word tampering, not me. I never use the word contract tampering. Look, I'm just saying, Steve is saying that he wants to come over here and spill a pint on me in the pub. I'm not sure about Larson. Larson doesn't seem all that into the idea of coming across to the UK and beating me up, but his arms are massive and he scares me a little bit. So I think we should just try and be friendly with them. So let's talk about the contract thing. Again, Kenneth, you're using the word tampering, not me. That is not a word that I've used. Sorry, my producer's calling me. What? We're what? Yeah. Now it's time for my review of Monday Night Raw, aka the Get a Better Crowd Oklahoma edition of Monday Night Raw in about 5 minutes. Yeah, I'll call you back.
Well, let's get into your Omega chats on this topic. WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll read out all of them above the $5 amount.
Stark remarks, surely.
Oh, sorry. Yes, the Stark remarks. I do apologize. We have got 3 chats here that have all sort of a similar theme, so we'll talk about it as one big thing. But Kevin V here says, you forgot a return this weekend. TNA! Brett J. Rasmus says, Collision was great fun. I loved all the returns of House of Black and Moxley. And Team TNA got a win. Speaking of TNA, how excited are you for TNA returning? Because, Luke, I am as excited as you are. What do you think of it happening? And EJO says, if Impact are rebranding to TNA, I propose that we rebrand Team TNA to The Carnival. Love your work. Jam, Das, Jam. Well, I mean, according to Jeff Jarrett, backstage they're called the Heat.
Are they really?
Yeah, it's like, well, there goes Heat, because they always take Heat with them. And stuff.
I mean,
but anyway, yeah, let's talk about the whole TNA as a whole. If you saw today's WrestleTalk news video, you saw me running down a street yelling, "TNA is back," and then overly chanting TNA and stuff.
Not only did former AEW star Sonny Kiss debut as a regular for the promotion, not only did Matt Cardona and Juventud Guerrera make cameos, not only did Ace Steel, yes, that Ace Steel, start working backstage as a producer, the biggest news coming from Bound for Glory is that TNA is back.
Guys, did you hear the news? TNA is back! Yeah! TNA! 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 TNA!
I'm excited. I think this is a good thing. I think people thought I was going to have a much bigger reaction to this because I was inundated with messages on Sunday.
Well, you have made it your whole brand, Luke.
Yeah, I get that. But fundamentally, I don't think much of the company's going to change. It's just the name is back. there are other things about TNA that I'm excited for than them just bringing back the 3 letters and admittedly the greatest wrestling logo that's ever existed.
I am impressed they haven't changed the logo.
Yeah, the logo is is incredible. And I think it's cool they're going back to TNA. I think it's a smart business choice going back to TNA because apparently they've been doing internal asking fans which name did you prefer, Impact? Because there's a really complicated reason as to why they're called Impact and not TNA. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of it's
what
cool.
Is it?
Well, so basically what happened was there was a big legal battle, ownership custody, real life, not kayfabe version, between Dixie Carter and Billy Corgan. And then Jeff Jarrett got involved because Jeff Jarrett had left and he'd started another company called Global Force Wrestling. And then he tried to get back into TNA to take over TNA again and merge TNA and Global Force Wrestling together. And because of all the stuff with Dixie and they were running out of money and Anthem eventually bought them, Anthem decided the name is poison.
Yeah.
No one associate anything good with TNA. So we rebrand and everyone will think we're a brand new thing, even though they've obviously referenced their 20-year history. So there's all this sort of stuff. So now going back to being the name of TNA, I think is a good, smart business move. Also, hey, nostalgia is a hell of a drug. Mm-hmm. I'm over nostalgia baiting. I'm sort of done with it now.
But that's your whole brand.
No, I like the 90s.
Right.
But I think the 90s is the greatest decade that Lifetime has ever produced.
Yeah.
I think really the world probably should have just stopped trying after the 90s because
I don't know, 2004, 2005. Actually, 2006 I think was the peak of culture.
We just peaked in the 90s.
Right.
Okay? As a society, as a culture, we peaked in the 90s. Mobile phones needed to be exactly where they were at the end of the 1990s. That's by the by. But I'm not going to be excited if you tell me that, we're doing a live action version of Gargoyles. That was a show that you liked as a kid. Or we're going to bring back this show. You liked that as a kid, right? Look, it's back. All the original stars back. That was exciting 5 years ago. But I think I'm a little bit past it now. On a personal level, I get why other people are excited. But I haven't watched the new Power Rangers thing that was on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch that.
Because it was yeah, I mean, I'll get around to it eventually, but if you'd have done this 5 years ago when nostalgia baiting was kind of a new thing, I kind of think I'd say 5 years ago, it's probably slightly longer than that, because I think it's Force Awakens era and Jurassic World era was when we were kind of in this whole the old stars are back. But it's a new story kind of thing, right?
Well, it's interesting because and I'm derailing us fully to go on a media studies conversation, but there was something about, especially, did you see the film Free Guy?
Yes.
There was something about Free Guy that was pitched very heavily as this is an original story, it's cool, it's whatever. And then it devolved by the end of the movie into just a IP dick measuring contest. It was look at all the things we own.
Yeah.
And that kind of is what when you do see this Ready Player One crossover, Space Jam, the new Space Jam, it really is just showing off we're a monopoly and we own everything. And that for me, it doesn't feel as fun because it doesn't feel character driven. It doesn't feel it doesn't understand. The new Frasier is excellent. And the new Frasier is excellent because it understands what Frasier was. Because it's, I haven't done enough to check whether it's the exact same team or whether it's just Kelsey, who's the follow-on, Kelsey Grammer. But the first episode of the new Frasier has the difficulty of a new sitcom in an age where we don't watch multi-camera sitcoms, where there's a laugh track and we're introducing new characters, and it does feel a bit weird, and there's an element of sinking in. But there's a beautiful moment at the end of the episode where Frasier talks to his son about his late dad, who obviously was a massively important character, not just in the show but in Kelsey Grammer's real life. And they have a very serious and very heartfelt conversation, and it moved me to almost tears. And it was oh, you understand. You're still Frasier. You get it. That energy is still present. That's what nostalgia is. If TNA are able to somehow take that kind of underground third-party thing that made TNA interesting at the beginning, before it all got a bit mental with your Bischoffs and Hogans and all that.
Yep. Who, did kill the company. And then Dixie and Billy Corgan had to try and scramble it to the point where
this is why we got to
Hogan and Bischoff killed it to a point where they had to rebrand it 6 years later.
Right. So if they can get back to the bit at the beginning there. I think if they announce they're going to do a King of the Mountain match, you'll probably...
I'll be very excited. I mean, they've done King of the Mountain matches. Like,
Right.
they brought back the Reverse Battle Royal at Slammiversary last year. Like,
well, I mean, it's the Impact 1000. Like that, it's kind of off the back of that.
I mean, I give huge credit to Scott D'Amore, by the way. Huge credit to Scott D'Amore and everyone that's working backstage at Impact, now back to being TNA. Because they really show that you can scratch and you can claw and you can get yourselves back. Because they are back. Like Impact, the last year that Impact have had really has been like this underground whispered thing of like, have you heard that it's good again? It's like Super Eye Patch, Wolf's most recent video is The Simpsons is good again. Like that's kind of what TNA has been. It's like, have you heard?
Yeah.
TNA's good again.
It's also like there's things that we'll talk about the women's division in Collision because like surprise, I've got stuff to say. But like that's when we talk about women's wrestling across the board, a lot of people say, "Oh, Impact have been doing a really good job with it,"
and that's one of the things that I think is one of their great strengths.
Yeah,
and like when people say like, "Are you excited for TNA? Excited for TNA?" It's like, no, there've been stuff I've been excited about TNA before they changed the name from Impact back to 3 letters.
Yeah,
I'm excited about Giselle Shaw.
Yeah.
I'm excited that Jordan Grace is there. I'm excited that Sunny Kiss has now joined the.
It feels like a
roster.
very real possibility that Will Ospreay is going to.
That's exactly. I was about to say, like Will Ospreay and Speedball Mike Bailey. It was so like what was exciting for me over the weekend was people on Sunday being like, "Did you hear TNA had a match of the year contender?" I haven't heard those words since 2007.
I think Mark Markuson might have said something about it a little while ago. Right?
But you know what I mean? Like it's that thing. It's like it's just these whispered things that are starting to like bubble up to the surface. Because even the one that Mark brought up was like, you know, is what wrestling fans talking about. This was like, you know, and even then it's that subset of wrestling fans. This was like everyone was talking about. Have you heard about the Will Ospreay Speedball Mike Bailey match? And that might be a show then. Or do much better pay-per-view numbers afterwards because people will buy the replay to see Ospreay versus Bailey because it is incredible. It's such an incredible match. And it'll be like, I think it'll end up probably being on, you know, top list of matches at the end of the year because it was that good. That's the stuff I'm really excited about. I'm excited that they're doing work with What Culture and, you know, with Simon Miller having a match with Joe Hendry. I'm excited they're doing work with Cultaholic and like Tom's going to be doing a voice. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like Impact, and even before they did this whole TNA rebrand, they were feeling like a cool product again. Because they're doing great numbers over here in the UK. They're doing really well in terms of the tour that they're going to be doing. This little mini Northeast/Scotland tour that they're doing. It's working.
A deprived region hotspot, like
well,
they have been. Yeah.
And like I love that it's like a Joe Hendry tour. Like it's Glasgow, it's Newcastle, and it's Coventry.
Yeah.
Like it's Joe Hendry hotspots. And that's a really smart thing to do. That's the stuff that excites me about TNA. It's not just that they've changed the name back. There's been stuff way before the name change that I've been like, this is something to keep an eye out on. And like watching Bound for Glory today, it just feels cool. It feels revitalized. What it feels a little bit like is, and this is going to sound like I'm damning it. And I am absolutely in no way damning it with my choice of words. This feels like seeing My Local Indie on TV because it's slightly smaller things. The way crowds sounds like when I go to indie shows in London. Like that's the sort of crowd. Like when I went to go see Defy. Yeah. Like that's the sort of crowd atmosphere I was hearing. And it was during the Chris Sabin Kenta match. I was like, this crowd just sounds like indie crowds that I'm usually a part of. Like I'm going to be part of one tomorrow night when I go see Riot Cabaret. And that to me is just like so exciting. And I'm thrilled that it took them changing the name back to TNA. But people are talking about TNA again. So that's really exciting. That's what excites me. Here's the best thing I can say about the TNA rebranding in terms of how much of a game changer it is. And I don't think it's just the TNA rebranding. I actually do think it is the work that they've been doing for the last 4 years to get us back to where they are now. And how good of a show Bound for Glory was. Not just off the back of Ospreay and Mike, but also like Saban and Shelley in the main event and this and the other, Jordan Grace, Giselle Shaw and this lot, is 3 weeks ago, if we'd have put like a poll up of like, where do you think Will Ospreay will sign? If we'd have done like 4 options, you done WWE, AEW, re-signs with New Japan, or goes to Impact. Impact would have been dead last. Yeah. And it would have been like 1-2%. And it probably would have been mostly AEW, probably
a smattering WWE.
WWE, I think, would have been in second, but a fairly distant second.
I also think it would
imagine.
be a generous second.
A generous second, and I think New Japan would have got the same sort of number as WWE had done. Done that poll today, it's a completely different story. Like, just off that weekend, it's a completely different story, where Will Ospreay signing with TNA seems like much more of a likelihood than it would have done 3 weeks ago.
And to use your FPL again, that's your Haaland buy. That's your premium. You spend a lot of money on that, bring some eyes to you, then you can showcase the rest of them. Same with Trinity. Imagine Mercedes Moné.
Yeah.
Mercedes Moné joining Trinity for a bit in TNA.
Absolutely. And like, you'd have said 6 months ago, no, absolutely not. Now? Yeah.
I don't know. So the interesting thing about Mercedes is that if I would have seen it happen.
So
when Trinity signed, it definitely felt like Mercedes went off to NJPW and Trinity got a consolation prize. But then actually, when you pay close attention to it and you see what they're doing.
That's what I was about to say. Like, to recontextualize what I meant there by, like, I wouldn't have seen it happen. I think if it had happened, people have said, like, oh man, what a joke.
Right.
She went to Impact. She went to LOL TNA. Yeah. Now it'd be like, oh, she's gone to TNA.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that I think is generous. There was someone there being like, guys, you're not answering the Ultra Chats. We were, because all of the Ultra Chats were asking us about TNA. Mummy is always on top, and Mummy's got some deals. I am Lacoin DAD, and I'm joined by the Professor of the Truth, your Gem That Champion, but not for long, Dan Layton. And welcome to the WrestleTalk Podcast. Please do press the subscribe button, give us a little thumbs up, leave a comment down below to help us with the old algorithm and stuff if you're watching this video on demand. If you're watching live, join the live chat and let us know what you thought of this episode of Monday Night Raw. But if you want your statement read out on the air or any of your questions, WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll read out all of them above the $5 amount.
Can I say immediately, she calls herself Mummy, and the idea of it is it's like, you know, Dominic Mysterio, puppy, mummy, all of that stuff. But because we're British, we can't really get away with it. So we have to say mummy.
We have to say mummy.
And that gives it a very different vibe, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've just, turned on half the live chat, so it's...
Well, that's fine because you've turned off half of the hosting team. So.
You don't like it when I refer to myself as Mummy?
No.
You don't think Mummy's going to read out some Ultra Chats now?
No. Let's move on. No. Immediately uncomfortable.
Well, let's see what you thought of this episode of Monday Night Raw in the Alpha chats. Please get them in, rustalk.com/support. We'll read out every single one of them above the $5 amount. And Valab Mamadapudi is kicking things off, and he's been a member for 29 months in a row. He said, here's the thing, though. I've been called Mammy by my friends all my life. But have you been called Mummy? Yeah. Mummy's going to read some Ultra Chats if you don't mind. And then the final thing to talk about is MJF and Omega getting ready. And once again, it was Samoa Joe approaching MJF to be like, hey, I'll be your tag partner. All you got to do is scream my name. Oh, Joe. Oh, Joe. So yeah, and that was the show. That was a great edition of Collision. Like, I loved everything that was on it. Just with the women's title match notwithstanding. And really, that's just, take the title a bit more seriously, but I enjoyed the match.
Yeah.
But I just thought this was a tremendous little episode of TV.
It's almost like that match existed in a separate show. Do you know?
Yeah, a little bit. I get that.
Feel that's the way. When I've looked back on the show as a whole, that's what it feels to me. I thought they otherwise used their time really well. I really liked the fact that the Guns were just waiting in the ring, like little things like that. Production wise, I quite liked. Claudio's bit was another highlight. Yeah, I thought it was a really effective show. Did well.
I really, really enjoyed this episode, and obviously it's capped off with just
what a match.
Yeah, what a match. We are so spoiled. I have no idea what nominations are going to be like. I actually wonder when we get to our end of year podcast, because I'm thinking about them a lot because we're about to get into November, which means we are like
Jesus wet, by the way. But
December is when submissions are going to be starting to come in for the WrestleTalk Podcast Awards. I wonder if we're going to get the most split votes we've had in a while. Usually, like when I look back at the previous couple of award seasons we've done, there's usually like two matches, and it's like a competition between those two matches of what's going to be the number 1 and number 2 position. I think we're going to have an incredibly tight top 10 this year. Certainly a top 5 of there's vying back and forth of what's getting the top position.
And within that, there's an awful lot of TV matches.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like it's not just great pay-per-view matches that we've had. across multiple companies, because I think Mike Bailey and Ospreay is definitely going to get some nominations in there. I think Ospreay and Omega from Wrestle Kingdom is going to get a lot of nominations. WWE are going to get a hell of a lot of nominations. Look at those, the tag match, Usos versus Bloodline, Civil War match. That's going to get some nominations. I think there's actually the Usos and Kevin Owens. Yeah. The triple threat at WrestleMania with Gunther.
Sheamus, yeah.
Gunther and Gunther's series of TV matches.
You could make a top 10 out of Gunther.
Yeah, Gunther's series of TV matches. MJF's run of the world champion. Danielson versus Omega Vikingo was this year. Yeah. There's been 2 Omega Ospreay.
Sorry,
matches.
Omega Vikingo, you got bumped.
That's
because
what I mean.
The rest of the year happened and nobody saw it coming.
I genuinely am so... Yeah. I'm kind of pumped and like giddy with excitement.
Do you know what you might say, Luke, if you were young and hip? The children are eating. The children are eating well tonight.
Well, I tell you who is eating. Daddy is eating. Daddy is eating well.
Well, we'll work on it.
That is how I'm going to make it awkward. That is how I'm going to take a cool phrase of my cool kids and make it awkward and dad. Daddy is eating when it comes to award season this year.
Stop!
That's all we've got time for on this edition of the podcast. Thank you all so much for joining us. We are back tomorrow with... Have you seen the lineup for tomorrow's Raw?
Yes, I have seen the lineup for tomorrow's Raw.
I'm just going to quickly go through this now.
Let's do it.
Because you've got Rollins versus JD McDonough. You've got Dom versus Ricochet. You've got Gargano DIY versus Imperium. Natalia and Chelsea Green in a trick or street fight. And... Alpha Academy versus the Creed Brothers.
They've done an open challenge and the Creed Brothers have accepted it. And by all accounts, this is the beginning of the Creed Brothers making the main roster.
Yeah, Meltzer said on Wrestling Was Over Radio being like, oh yeah, it's this is the call-up.
Yeah.
They're just going to start on the main roster now.
Yeah. Hey Luke. The children are eating.
And Daddy is eating. Well, it's happening, folks. The Miz is turning babyface and is going against Gunther. I am Luke Owen, DAD. I am joined by the Professor, the Truth, your gem, that champion, and the Miz #1 stan, Dan Layton.
Yes. Well, I'd like it to be known. I thought I was being cute coming in like Halloween adjacent. Like I'm Halloween bounding. I've got a little...
Sorry, the hair was getting in my mouth for a second then. What's cute, Dan, is that earlier in the thing you said, I could never wear a Halloween costume because I'd always feel like I'm the only one who's wearing one. I don't want to Bridget Jones myself.
Well, we were talking... So I've got my little Freddy Krueger-esque jumper on, and that's about as much... And I painted my nails a vague shade of purple. There's actually more red when I look at it. So, like...
It's quite maroonish.
I was going to try and do little pumpkins, but then the orange I bought turned out was just glitter. So... There's not a lot I could do. But then we were talking about Kane at the Undertaker's retirement showing up in the only one in gear, and I was like, that's why I don't go to fancy dress parties, because like I don't want to be the only one dressed in a costume.
You're not going to be the only one to go to a Halloween party dressed up, are you?
In Bridget Jones, they had a Tarzan Vickers party, and then she showed up in full Playboy bunny gear, and it had been cancelled. No one told her, and she was the only one dressed in costume. That's my permanent fear.
I don't think that's going to happen if you're invited to a Halloween party. No one's going to cancel the Halloween party. Keep it on Halloween.
Picture the scene. Dan, we've decided to just have an elegant Halloween dinner party. Why have you come dressed as the Joker nurse?
I would say I need new friends.
Okay, right, that's fair.
Because who is organising
That's fair.
a Halloween dinner?
So you come as Sideshow Bob?
Yes, of course. Welcome to the WrestleTalk Podcast review of Monday Night Raw. I was trying to keep this one to an hour. I've got to get back to trick-or-treaters, mate.
Nah, mate.
However, we're clearly building to something with Shinsuke. I don't know what that is. And if Shinsuke just says, I'll have an open challenge at Survivor Series, that is going to lead to a lot of people thinking that it's a Punk return, or it's a Randy Orton
I hear
return.
voices.
I hear voices will hit.
I think that would be a disappointment, is the thing, if they tease it. Do you remember how last year, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, this time last year, we were talking about the women's War Games match, and it was in Boston, and you could have a big hometown return for Sasha Banks. And it was never going to happen, but a lot of people were talking about it could do, but and like, you know, whatever. So they gave us Becky Lynch early to make sure that we weren't disappointed on the night. It's one of those, I think. People are getting carried away.
Yeah, sorry, it's not my mic.
It's fine. You look wonderful, darling.
It's also because I've just suddenly realised that there's stars on my costume that were put there by my friend's 4-year-old because she was giving me stars for being such a good patient. She was putting plasters on my hand because I was bleeding a lot and it was really stingy. And then because I was such a brave boy, she was giving me little stars.
Were you really?
No.
Oh, okay.
She was 4 years old.
She was just telling you that it hurt.
Exactly. Yeah, she was telling me, I pretended this hurts a lot. This really
weird.
hurts.
I don't. It's my worst night of the year.
And she gave me stars because I was such a brave boy.
I moved into the tower to escape children as well. Who's going to come out and save Miro? Nobody. He's got no friends.
Oh my God, it's Lana!
Whoa!
Oh my God! Lana's here! CJ Perry is all elite! What?
She's going to do a little dance!
Oh my God.